It is now time to check in on weather with Nebraska Extension AG Climatologist and Market Journal's Chief Meteorologist Al Dutcher. Al, I mentioned that harvest has begun for several producers in Nebraska. How's the weather looking for those producers in the field and for those planning a trip to Husker Harvest Days next week?
Well, Bryce, we had a fairly benign week. We had very warm temperatures. Then we seen this cold front come through, and what a change. From the hundreds out, or upper 90s to low 100s out west. Now we're looking at 70s to low 80s for this weekend. 30-degree drop in temperatures coupled with clouds and rain makes for an ugly game. It's going to feel rather chilly with that kind of a temperature drop. And if you're going to the game into Lincoln there today, bundle up. It's going to be a raw day, and I would basically count on getting a little bit soaked with the ongoing precipitation. Now, as we look forward into the future, it does appear subtly that we might be seeing a shift away from this very dry pattern to a more aggressive troughing pattern in the western United States. We'll see how that plays out, but at least there's several more opportunities for precipitation as we go through the next 7 to 10 day period. So we look at the upper air miles. The first thing I'll draw your attention to is we have this big upper air troughs, the center of the upper air low over the western Hudson Bay region extending toward the southwest into the central plains. And as this pivots toward the east-southeast, we will continue to see the precipitation shield itself shift also with this frontal boundary. So precipitation will come to an end in western Nebraska. It's probably going to linger all day here in eastern Nebraska before starting to end during the overnight hours. Temperatures are going to be cool. We're primarily in the lower to mid 70s in the southeast, upper 60s northeast, and probably the mid 70s to maybe the low 80s in the southwestern corner. As we go into tomorrow, this upper air low now pivots toward Iowa. We still going to have some wraparound cloud cover to deal with in eastern Nebraska, so we may see that clouds hang on for the first half of the day before we get some sunny skies developing during the afternoon hours. And the quicker this moves, the warmer it's going to get. So in western Nebraska, we're probably going to bump 5 degrees on our temperatures under sunnier skies. In eastern Nebraska with a cloud cover, we're probably going to get stuck in the low to mid 70s. As we go into the day on Monday, this upper air now moves over into central Illinois. We get a slight northwest flow aloft in eastern Nebraska. That's going to keep our temperatures a little bit cooler than western Nebraska, but we're still going to recover somewhat. We're probably looking at the low 80s across the east and the mid to upper 80s across the west with a few isolated 90s possible as the center of this high pressure ridge starts to move eastward. As we get into the day on Tuesday, the upper air low now moves over to the southern Great Lakes. Ridging starts to build into the central plains, much warmer conditions, primarily back in the low to mid 80s across the east and the upper 80s to low 90s across the southwest. Wouldn't be surprised in the southwest corner to see 95-degree reading pop out of this. Now, as we get into the day on Wednesday, we'll see that upper air low now moving toward the northeastern United States. We see a trough trying to build into the western United States. It's going to shoot a little bit of energy out toward the northern plains. Some of that may make it into southwestern and western Nebraska, but it looks like it'll be very light precipitation. And if this can hold together, some of this might make it into southeastern Nebraska, but I wouldn't count on anything significant in terms of moisture. Now, as we get in next Thursday, this upper air low takes its way off into the eastern United States. High pressure ridge stays subdued across the southern plains, so that's where the real heat's going to be. There's a channel developing between this high pressure system and this trough to the west that may allow some moisture to move in. But right now it doesn't look like much in the way of significant moisture except for eastern Nebraska. We may see some shower activity. And then as we get into Friday, a little bit better monsoonal flow comes around this and this trough comes a little bit closer. So we may see some decent moisture breakout, particularly across the eastern half of the state as we go through the day on Friday. Longer term, next Thursday, the following Tuesday, warm conditions entail. And in terms of precipitation, looks like an aggressive precipitation pattern for the northern half of the plains.